Welcome to HTB, or How to Become, the podcast where careers start with a conversation. Each episode, we sit down with someone actually doing the job you're curious about, from trades to tech, healthcare to hands-on skilled work. You'll hear how they got started, what the day-to-day really looks like, what they earn, and what they wish they'd known before they began. Whether you're a student, a parent, or someone thinking about a career change, these real stories are here to help you figure out your next step. Let's jump into today's conversation and learn how to become, well, anything. Welcome to HTB. Today, we're unpacking the path to one of the most quietly powerful jobs in business and insurance, the actuary. Actuaries in the U.S. typically earn well into six figures, with many landing between $120,000 and $150,000 a year once established, and top performers going significantly higher. The trade-off is a long runway. Most actuaries spend 4 years getting a quantitative bachelor's degree, often in math, actuarial science, statistics, or finance. Then another several years grinding through a gauntlet of professional exams, so it can take 7 to 10 years to become fully credentialed. The good news is, however, that you get paid by your employer while you study for your exams, so you have a financial leg up on people going to grad school. The field skews analytical and detail-oriented, with the average actuary around their late 30s to early 40s and roughly 3/4 of the workforce still male, though that gender gap is slowly narrowing. If you're drawn to math, like the idea of big responsibility without a lot of spotlight, and want a career that's both stable and highly paid, this episode will walk you through how to become an actuary. Welcome to How to Become. I'm your host, Bernard Peters, and today I'm sitting with Laura LaBrosse, who's going to teach us how to become an actuary. So, Laura, thank you for joining me today.
Yes, excited to be here.
So I think it would be helpful just for the listeners to start if you could give us, what your title is, where you work, and just like a brief resume.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Laura. I currently work at John Hancock, which is a life insurance company based in Boston, Massachusetts. I am a director and actuary there, and I currently working on long-term care insurance, which is, I think it's very interesting. Long-term care insurance basically helps pay for care once you can't really perform your daily living tasks anymore. So if you think of elderly patients or elderly parents who, might not be able to bathe themselves or eat or dress anymore as they age. And that's kind of what long-term care insurance will cover. So it'll cover the costs of needing an in-home care provider. So someone who
Mhm.
comes to your house and helps take care of you, or facility care, so like nursing home, assisted living facility. So that's what I primarily focus on now. Previous to that, I did go to Bentley University, which is in Massachusetts, Boston area, and I studied actuarial science there. But actuarial science is really just another name for a math major. So I basically just studied math, and had a double major in finance as well. So with that background, I kind of moved into looking to become an actuary,
Mhm.
and got a job at John Hancock. So I've been there now for 8 years, and I've had four different positions within the company. In my
Okay.
current position now, I've been there for about 3 years now. So yeah.
How big is your office at John Hancock? How many employees do they have roughly just in Boston?
It's a great question. John Hancock is owned by Manulife, which is a global insurance company based out
Okay.
of Toronto.
Yep.
So our Boston office is fairly big. I want to say like 6,000 employees, but I
Okay. Yeah,
could
that's
be.
big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah.
So what does an actuary do? What does your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would say I like to say we're glorified fortune tellers. So we like to basically predict the future. So our job is to kind of look at past experience, past data, and tell everyone what we think is going to happen in the future. So a lot of insurance is trying to manage risk and understand when you might need to pay out claims. Um, so our job is to kind of understand when we might need to pay out those claims, and how much we would need to pay out. And that's kind of pretty standard across the whole industry there. There's different kind of areas to focus in on when you're an actuary. Like you can kind of go the property and casualty side, which is like the home insurance, car insurance side of things, or the life and health side. So I'm on the life side of things. And there's a whole different set of exams for both sides.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so it takes a lot of work to become a fully credentialed actuary. So my first I guess I started on the exam journey at age, like, 19. There's, like, 11 exams to take. So it
Yeah.
took me about 9 years to kind of create all my credentialing there. But in terms of, like, now what I do on the life insurance side, my day to day is a lot of data analytics and a lot of understanding trends in our data. So I'm using a lot of different tools like SQL.
Mhm.
We use coding languages, so we'll use Python and R to help us with data analysis. And we also do a lot with predictive modeling, which is really cool. And our team specifically works really closely with our AI team. So we
Okay.
get to kind of see a lot of what's happening in like the data science world, which is really cool. And I would say a lot of actuaries' jobs is connecting kind of the more technical aspects to the business side. So actuaries really understand the business aspect of the company. So, all the financials and all of that. And we also understand the data and technical side. So we're kind of like the connector between those two.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of time like looking at data, but then also communicating those results to our senior leaders and senior management so that they can make the best decisions or data driven decisions for our company
Okay.
too.
Wow, okay, so so it sounds like you're not just sitting behind a computer, working within tools and software, but you have to work with different departments across the company. Um, as a director, do you manage employees as well?
Yeah, so I have a team under me of 3, and they're all actuarial students. So when you're taking exams, we call you an actuarial student. So they're in the process of
Gotcha.
taking their actuarial exams. So they're not fully credentialed yet, but yeah, I manage a team of 3.
Okay. Yeah, they say that, actuaries consistently rank as one of the top careers um, for pay and job stability, so
Yeah, definitely.
no, that's great. What
Yeah.
drew you to become an actuary well, I guess, how did this path unfold for you?
Yeah, so when I got to Bentley, which thanks Nicole for helping me get there, because I don't think I would have known what Bentley is without Nicole helping going there first. So
Yeah,
I was very excited to go to Bentley and kind of dive into like the business world. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do yet. I kind of was thinking, okay, I like math a lot. Maybe something in finance or accounting would be good for me. And so when I got to college, my calculus professor was the head of the actuarial department, and she was also my freshman year advisor as
oh,
well.
okay.
Um, so I really connected with her, and because I was a very strong math student in her calc class, she highly recommended I look into actuarial science, and I had no idea what actuarial science was at the time. I think it's
Yeah.
not really a career that you hear about a lot either.
Yeah, I didn't know it
Um,
existed unless I had, one of my older cousins back in South
yeah.
Africa as an actuary. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, yeah, it's not, like, something you really hear about, and I think insurance too doesn't sound that exciting and appealing to kids, so
Sure.
I think it's not, like, a very, like you don't really hear about or hear kids talking about how they wanna be an actuary, so it's not, like, that well known, I would say, but then I started, like, doing more research into it, At first, I was really against it because of all the exams. So, like, one of the biggest barriers to entry for actuarial is you don't need a master's degree. You don't need to like get any higher education, which is really great. But you do need to pass a series of 10 exams in order to get fully credentialed.
Yeah.
Um, and so it does take a lot of work to do that,
Mm.
but I think it's really cool that instead of going back to school and maybe getting a master's or whatever, you get and paying to study, you get paid to study. So one of
Right.
the nicest things is once you're done with your college degree and you start in the workforce, you automatically get all your exams paid for, all your study materials paid for, you get paid study hours. So it's like makes it a lot easier to pass all these exams, which is really great too. So after kind of doing more research, talking to actuaries in the field too, I did end up going down that route and trying my first exam
Okay.
out in college. So that was kind of how I fell into this, but I do think it's a really great career path for someone who is great, like likes math. It's definitely very mathematical. All a lot of the first like 5 or 6 exams are just math
Yep.
exams,
Yep.
basically. So I always loved math. That was something I felt like I was good at and understood. So I liked how it kind of combines like a business perspective with the math side.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of how I fell into it, there.
And what did the coursework look like at Bentley? Was it just like a standard major in terms of number of hours you have to put in, or did you have to take summer and winter courses as well to get the credits?
Yeah, so I didn't have to take, like, any extra credits or anything like that. I would say the biggest thing is if you are looking to pursue this career, it is nice to go to a college that has an actuarial major because, part of your major courses will be, like, prep courses for the exams, so it really
Yeah.
helps
Yeah.
you with the first few exams, and studying for them, so I would say, like, it's not more work than any other major, but I would definitely put, like, a priority on my classes or courses that were helping me study for the exam and just making sure that I was, like, doing all the work for that and putting in hours for that course in particular so that when I got to the exam, it was much easier to pass and stuff.
Well, you said you took your first exam at 19, so was that your freshman year already?
So sophomore year, yeah, I
Sophomore year,
took
okay.
maybe I was 20, I don't know. Sophomore year, I took my first exam. Yeah, so typically in order to get a job in the actuarial career, like actuarial field, you need at least one exam passed already. So you do need to like start taking or thinking about taking exams in college typically
Yeah.
in order to like land that first job. People typically will start taking exams in college, like sophomore, junior year.
Wow, okay, and so if, younger people that wanna become an actuary, if they haven't attended college yet, do they should they start that coursework freshman year, or can they start their 2nd or 3rd year for the major?
Um, yeah, I mean, like, I mean, everyone's journey is different too.
Okay.
Like, for me, I didn't take any,
Mhm.
um, major classes freshman year for this, so I don't think you need that, but you do need, like, some prereqs, so, like, calc is definitely a prereq and, like, stats too, so if you are considering it, I mean, that would be, like, the first step to take those, like, kind of prereq classes, which is, like, your statistics and calculus classes, um, in order to, like, start the coursework, and start being able to study for those exams too.
And then so if you're going through getting major in actuarial sciences, how does it work with lining up a job for after college? Is it one of those things where you get an internship somewhere after your junior year and you get an offer and you're set for your senior year, like it's all good to go? Or how does it typically work for actuaries?
Yeah, yeah. So typically I would say like that is the path that I did. I had a internship after my sophomore year and my junior year. And then
Well, after your sophomore year too.
yeah, yeah. I would
Wow.
say Bentley's like very, very good at pushing internships and connecting you in the
Yeah.
community. So like I think I was really lucky by the school I went to because they do really like they put, bring employers and have career fairs, and so it makes it really easy for you to like network and find opportunities that way, which is really
Mhm.
nice. So yeah, I did have an internship after both my sophomore and junior years. Um, and I did have an offer from my internship after my junior year, going back senior year, but I really wanted to stay in Boston, and the company that I had the offer from was in Hartford, and since I'm from Connecticut,
Oh,
I was
yeah, okay.
just not I wanted to move to Boston. So I started looking at like other opportunities in other in Boston in particular, and found the John Hancock job that way.
Okay.
But because I had two previous internships and I had two exams passed at that time, it made it a lot easier to apply to a lot of companies and like get interviews and all of that. So those past experiences along with the exams are definitely really important when like trying to look for jobs, and things happen really early in the actuarial field. So I think I
Yeah,
had my job lined up and done by October of my senior year. So it was kind of nice just to be done and over with that. But
for sure, yeah. It
yeah.
was the same
Mhm.
for me at PwC, and,
Yeah.
accountants that work at the Big 4, it's the same deal. It's like summer
Right.
internship after junior year, at the end of your internship, as long as you really didn't screw up badly, then, yeah,
Yep.
you get your offer, and then, yeah, you can't kick back your senior year because you still have a lot of coursework to do, but you're avoiding the stress of all your classmates that are still trying to figure out what to do, before they graduate, so yeah, that's a huge plus.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
So
Hmm.
tell me about the exam process after you graduated from Bentley and you started working. How do you balance study time with having a full-time job? How does the business support you in that?
Yeah, so I think like one of the great things about actuarial science is that it has like this community in it. It's probably similar to, like accounting, where like you join this company, and like in my case it was John Hancock that has an actuarial development program. So you're starting with a class of like 8 or 10 other students who are just graduating in the same position as you, and it kind of makes it a really nice opportunity to kind of join this, like, community,
That's
almost of
awesome, yeah,
people going through exams and kind of in that same place of life as you. So,
yeah.
um, that's been great. I've gotten a lot of support out of the actuarial development program at John Hancock. They pay for all your exam material, all your, exams, and then you also get paid study time on top of that. So for
Oh my god.
yeah, so for every exam, depending on how long the exam is, you get like a really good chunk of time. I think my last exam I had like 300 hours, or like it was like or like 150 hours of study time. Like it's a lot of study time you get. So that's time out of your workday that you can set aside and just study. Um
Wow, okay.
yeah, so it makes it a lot easier to handle and manage that, like, studying and working at the same time, because you can, like, go take some time off leading up to your exam and really focus on that. And I found it easier to study once I started working than it was in college, because you kinda have a lot more going on in college. There's
Less
clubs and
distractions.
yeah, exactly, and,
Yeah.
like, once you start working, it's just work and study. So I didn't find it too challenging because of all that support, and you have friends, like, right away in this kinda community who are also studying and going through all that with you. So it makes it really nice and, like, a really supportive, great environment, to do that in.
Okay, so the study time, it's not in addition to the 40-hour work week you have to have. It's
Oh,
in lieu of,
yeah.
right? So if you
Yeah,
spend
mhm.
20 hours a week studying, you do 20 hours of study time, 20 hours at the office.
Exactly, yep.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, and
Yeah.
then, how old were you when you finished your final exam?
That's a great question. I think there you have to pass a series of exams, and then there's some um other like modules, we call them, that you have to complete after. By the time I was done with everything, that was 2023. I was 28 at the time. So, I think it took me 9 years to do all of them.
Yeah, but what I love about
Yeah.
that is if you compare it to, say, going to med school, right? It's like, okay,
Right.
you go to med
Mhm.
school or law school, you're not out until you're, 26 or so, but you've
Right.
incurred all these expenses, right? All this debt with the school, and you haven't really earned an income yet. Whereas you're
Mhm.
out of college, you're earning an income and you get to study. Um,
Exactly.
and then does your I'm assuming there are different pay scales as you pass different exams.
Yeah, so that's the other really nice thing is, like, it's very clear, like, path to success, right? Like, you just
Yeah.
keep passing your exams and you keep moving up. So every time you pass an exam, you get a raise, which is really nice. And then like we also have performance based like promotions as well on top of that. But as you pass your exams, you kind of like there's a very clear path to that success, which is really nice too.
Yeah. And then what are the different levels at a company like John Hancock? So you start out, excuse me, as a actuarial student, and you pass your exams. Then so how do those different levels work?
Yeah, so in the actual development program, there's like three different levels that you can like get promoted to. So you start off as like an actuarial assistant, and then you move to like an associate and a senior associate. Um, and then um that's kind of like you move up through that
Yep.
during the program. And then once you're done with exams, you can get promoted to like I think I forget what the title is, but it's like there's a one more job grade above that before director, and then director level
Is it
is
is it
like
manager?
yeah, there's
Okay. It's like it
yeah,
was the same at PwC. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Okay. And then
Mhm.
after director, where does it go from there?
Yeah, so then after director, there's AVP. So you're kind of at the VP level at that point. So you I feel like once you're done with your exams and everything, you kind of will eventually get promoted to director. You kind of stay there for a bit until like AVP levels open up, or it's just because the VP level gets harder because there's less opportunities at that level. But they definitely do a good job promoting from within, and there's a lot of actuaries at our company that are in like executive leadership positions too, which is great. So they definitely like trust actuaries a lot in insurance, and actuaries have gone on to be our CEO and CFOs. So it's definitely like they definitely look to actuaries to take on those leadership positions in the company.
That's great. And so you work for a global company now.
Mhm.
Are there options for you to um, move to other cities, like do secondment with another office in another country? Are there
Yeah.
opportunities like that?
Yeah, so I would say, like, typically, like, they're not gonna put you there, like, they wouldn't just, like, move me to Asia if I didn't
Right,
wanna go to Asia, but
right.
we have a huge Asia office and Asia presence, so we have, like, Tokyo, Singapore, Philippines, like, we have a lot of different locations over there, and then we have our head office in Toronto, and there's definitely been people who have like raised their hand, been like, I would love to have the opportunity to work in Asia or move to Asia for either like a short period of time or whatever it is. And
That's so
that's
cool.
definitely doable. I've had a couple friends do that actually. One of my friends, he was like already on an Asia modeling team, and he moved to Tokyo, which was really cool. So I feel like there's definitely those opportunities if you want to do
That's
that.
amazing.
And then like even with senior leaders especially, we always have people moving over. Like our chief actuary just became the CEO of Asia, so he like moved
Yeah.
to Asia to take that role. So like I feel like there's a lot of movement there, which is really cool.
That's great. Kind of keeps the job exciting and opportunities exciting. Um, what was the hardest part of getting to the point where you're at now? Was it Bentley? Was it studying for the exams? Was it your first year on the job? What wh- what was the hardest for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. Yeah, I mean, definitely like keeping that momentum going through the exam process because it does take
Yeah.
a lot of time and a lot of years to go through all of it. So it can be a challenge for sure just to like continue like taking the next, once you're done with one, you move on to the next exam. So definitely making sure you're giving yourself like breaks and like knowing your limits too is huge. And I think like, knowing when to take some time to relax before you start studying again or whatever it is, but that's definitely a challenge, for sure, and I think, like, all the support that the company gives and, that Bentley gave too was really helpful for that, but otherwise, like, I think, what's helped me the most in my career is really creating those connections and building that network for sure. Like the actuarial development program is really great because you get to rotate through different departments. So that's how
Oh, that's
I've
great.
had,
Yeah.
yeah, so I've had like 4 different roles since joining the company, and, it's really been great for, like, just building my network and kind of understanding the big picture too of how, like, the company operates and all of that. So that's definitely been really helpful, but I would say the hardest part is definitely just keeping that momentum and
Through the
keeping
exams.
going because it can feel never ending for sure.
Right, right. What do you think the biggest misconception is about actuaries and the job?
That we're boring. I would say that we're not boring. That it's a boring job. I think it's a really cool, exciting job. I feel like when you think of an actuary, you think of a really nerdy person or, maybe someone who can't communicate well, and,
Yeah,
um, that's definitely not me. I would say my biggest strength is, like, communication and building those connections, and I think, like, a big part of our job is really kind of what I was describing before of taking the technical stuff and being able to tell a story with it and communicate it to senior leaders. So you almost have to be such a good communicator to be able to break that down
yeah,
and communicate like the bigger picture there. So I think that's the biggest misconception about actuaries.
yeah. No,
Sure.
I get it, and, I face the same as an accountant, right? People think we're just
Right.
kinda like this green visor and head down, but, there's a lot of work with people involved, and, yeah, they can get really exciting too. But that's
Yeah.
exactly what a nerd would say.
Yeah.
Uh, but what's a work-life balance like? I'm thinking to, that's always coming from the accounting background, right? That was always something uh, that the Big 4 boasted about was, really good 401k programs, great insurance, great vacation, really good maternity leaves, those kinds of things. What's it like in the actuarial world?
Yeah, so I would say actuaries have really great work-life balance. I've always experienced that. Like I've always been able to maintain a really great balance between work and like life, and even with studying, like, I've been able to still maintain that balance
Yeah.
a lot, and now that I'm done with exams as well, like, I continue to experience, like, a really good, healthy, like, work-life balance, and I think our company really values its employees, so we do have a lot of those really great benefits as well, which is great, great vacation time, a lot of flexibility there, and then, like, flexibility to work from home and all of that as well. Great 401k. We have stock option plans. We have like all of that at our company
Wow,
as well.
okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and then are there kinda like hubs for your role where, I'm like, if I were an accountant and I focused on, biotech, right? It would basically I'd have to live in Boston, Bay Area, San Diego, those kinda 3 areas.
Yeah.
What about for your
Mhm.
role? Is it kinda, are there specific hubs where you can't necessarily move to Hawaii and do your job?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, there's always like we have actually a lot of actuaries working for like the big four too. So you can find
Yeah,
like
right.
PwCs and all those all over. So, I mean, there's definitely flexibility there, but I would say, there's a lot of insurance companies in, like, Nebraska and Iowa, actually,
Yeah,
so the Midwest is actually a huge hub for actuaries,
yeah.
and then Hartford is also another one because of all the insurance companies there, so it's, like, kind of anywhere there's insurance, but, yeah, I mean, Boston obviously has always a big hub. Like, I think, like, those major cities, you can always find actuarial jobs for sure, and then, like, a lot of actuaries become consultants, and that is easier to kind of, you know, work from anywhere too, and then there's a lot more going remote, like, fully remote jobs out there than there used to be for actuaries too.
Okay. So you can work
We're
from Hawaii if you wanted to.
if you wanted to, yeah, I actually did have a coworker who did that. She couldn't do it with John Hancock because we do require everyone to be in the office, like, 3 days a week, but, she, like, got a fully remote job, moved to Hawaii, and just, like, worked worked
That's
from
amazing.
Hawaii. I know.
That's so amazing.
So,
How,
that does happen.
how has I mean, I feel like you started working at John Hancock before the AI revolution really became a thing.
Mhm.
How has the technology changed in, like, advanced modeling software or AI? How's that changed the way you do your work over the last 8 years?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it really much easier because coding in general, like, I would say is the biggest thing that's amazing to have AI with, right? Because, like, you don't have to spend time, trying to figure out why your code's not working or, spending time even, like, writing code, and all of that. I think it's made it, the productivity there a lot faster, which is really nice. Um, and then, like, and then also just, like, doing everyday tasks that, like, you might be putting off or not wanna do, like, even just, like, writing memos, like, we have to write a lot of memos, that's
Okay.
super helpful for that, uh, or, like, organizing notes, taking notes during meetings and then having AI just organize it for you or record and write notes for you. So I think like that type of stuff has been really helpful for sure. Um but yeah, I would say like for actuaries, like I think like a lot of people have been concerned about like, entry level coders maybe not
Yes.
being needed anymore.
Yeah.
Um but I think for us like because we spend so much time taking exams and like building this industry knowledge, like, our job security is so great because in all insurance companies really need actuaries, like, for signing off and whatever it is and, like, understanding the business, which I think AI, like, might not, fully be
It's
there
not there
for.
yet.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I think, like, it's just made our jobs, like, faster and easier, which has been great, but I wouldn't say, like I wouldn't say actuarial roles are gonna get eaten by AI at any point,
It's not
even the
at
entry
risk.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So even is it changing the way that the entry level actuaries that, fresh out of college, their first, the first, second years, is it changing the way that they're contributing to the work environment?
So it's kind of interesting because I feel like a lot has changed since even when I like graduated.
Right.
We didn't really take like it wasn't really recommended to us to like take R or coding classes in college. And I don't even know if those were really available to us. So like I had to learn how to code and everything on the job as like we started using
That's
more and more of these
amazing. Okay.
tools. Yeah, and actually some of our the exams now cover and teach you how to code. So, like, some of our actuarial exams
Yeah.
have changed over to that and kinda being more predictive modeling focused, which is interesting. Um, but I would say, like, the biggest thing too is that a lot of like, the supply for actuaries has gone down because of, like, the AI and data science boom. Like, I feel like a lot of people with the same, like, maybe skill set is, like, getting kind of pushed over or, like, they're more interested in data science because that's, like, the hot new thing, right? And, like, so, um, I feel like that's been interesting to see, like, that it's actually we see a lot more, like, data science, like, majors or, like, we'll post, like, a data science type role, and it will get, like, 1,500 applicants, whereas, like, our actuarial
Wow.
positions won't really get that traction. Like, obviously not that level
Right.
ever, but, like, that the competition to get data science roles is, like, really hard it's really hard. But for actuaries, like, if you do end up going down that route and, like, taking the exams, that's really valuable. So but for the most part, for like entry level, I would say most of the actuaries are definitely coming in with like coding now. Like we
Experience,
kind of
yeah.
expect that almost that they've had
Wow.
some type of coding in college or like not or know some type of coding language. Just
Yeah.
because I feel like it's part of the exams now and it's like kind of part of everyday work at our company as well.
Yeah.
So having those technical skills and like knowing how to code in R or Python or whatever it is definitely like more common. And we see that with most like entry level students, I would say.
That is so fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
So for college students or young people that are looking for a career change, what are some concrete signs that they'd be a good fit for this profession?
Well, the number one thing is exams. If you can pass an exam, like whatever your major was in college,
Yeah.
we'll consider you. Cause like I think the exams really show that like one, you're committed to trying this, like, and two, you're smart enough to pass the exam. So like it's very important, if you are considering, like, going into actuarial or changing over, and we've definitely had a lot of career changers come and join our company, like, prior math teachers who didn't like it and wanted to, like, try something else.
Yeah.
So, we have, like, a few of those actually, like, in our company now who have done that, even one who was a math teacher for, like, 20 years and, like, just started taking
No
exams. So, like,
way. That's
yeah, so it's
awesome.
actually not that uncommon, and the biggest thing is really needing those exams and, like, passing those exams, so I would say just, like, doing research on the first couple exams, and kind of understanding what it takes to, like, pass those, and that's really, like, the biggest thing for, getting, like, your first job, I would say, and
Yeah.
then also, like, having some sort of, experience in the field, but that doesn't necessarily have to be an actuarial experience. It could be like finance or business or some other type of like data science type of experience too. So,
Do actuaries ever leave the insurance space and apply their knowledge and skill set in other industries or other jobs that aren't actuarial?
yeah, I mean, we definitely have done like I've definitely seen people do that and like
Yeah.
leave the field. Like actually, old head of our department, he was a VP and he had been an actuary for I don't know 15, 20 years in the industry and he quit and became a software developer because he just wanted to
Gotcha.
do that. So like I
Yeah.
feel like there's definitely a lot of skills that you pick up through your exams and through your work as an actuary that really go well with other areas and we've had a lot of like actuaries take on like non-actuarial roles within the company like in
Yep.
operations or, like,
Move over
in
to
marketing.
HR or yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, that, like, maybe it's not a specifically actuarial role, but,
Yeah.
the skills that you've learned and built, have really helped, like, to make, a good asset for that, like, position, for
Right, and
sure.
you understand the business, you understand the core, right?
Exactly.
You can relate to the people that you work with, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, so people really value, like, actuaries in the company and really,
Yeah,
like, trust their, like, opinions, which is nice.
that's great. So if someone listening wants to start on this path in the next year, what's the first actionable step that they should take?
I would say do research. There's a lot on the SOA. So the Society of Actuaries is like the society that oversees all actuaries, I guess. And they have a lot of really great resources online on their website
It's
that
called
kind
the
of
SOA?
SOA, yeah,
Okay.
Society of Actuaries, yeah. And so on their website, they have a lot of really great resources on like kind of like the career and all that and even like practice exams and all the material that you would need to
Wow, okay.
understand like what to pass and like kind of syllabus and stuff like that. So I think the SOA is a really great resource, and they even hold like boot camps that you can do to kind of learn more about the exams or about like the career. So, and they do a lot of webinars and stuff like that. So I would just
Yeah.
definitely say that SOA is a great first step.
So if you're like a senior in college, you're graduating this year with some kind of applied mathematics degree,
Yeah.
would you want to connect with like an employer first to see if they'd be willing to sponsor your exams, or do you just dive right into let's get a couple exams out of the way first?
Yeah, I would say in order to land most actuarial jobs, you do need an exam passed
Gotcha.
first. So I would say definitely just going for it.
Yeah.
The exams are kind of expensive though,
I was
so I
gonna ask that
totally
next, yeah.
yeah, but they
How
have
much is an
college
exam
student
now?
I think they're around like 300. The first couple are like 300, 350
Yeah,
for the exam.
and then study
They
materials.
Yeah, study materials are more expensive too. So, like, can be like $1,000, depends on like what materials you're getting. But the colleges do have like they do have college student discounts, which is nice. And then there's some like actuarial like industry societies that will help pay for your exam and will reimburse you too if you pass the exam. So that can also help. Like, there's an organization of Latino actuaries and then the International Black Actuaries Association as well. And like both those are really great societies that can like help with paying
Yeah,
for exams, scholarships, all of that.
okay.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really helpful. What, what do you love most about your job?
Definitely the people. I really love my team and the people I work with, like, that's definitely what's kinda kept me, I would say, for the last 8 years is really built up a really nice connection and really, like, great relationships with a lot of, um, my team members, and then I really also like the senior leadership at my company as well, like, I really think they're all great people and have really good values, so it kinda helps to, like, really enjoy what your company's mission is and what they're really trying to set out to do. So I definitely really love the people and the culture at the company for sure.
I love that. I think I'll end it there. That this has
Okay,
been
great.
a really, really helpful conversation.
Yeah,
It's fascinating to hear the kind of behind the scenes of the job itself. I learned a lot. And it's
that's great.
crazy. It's crazy to think that, you not only need to know math, but you have to teach yourself how to code as well.
Yep,
That's that's rad.
definitely. Yep,
So,
yeah.
well, Laura, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
yeah, hope you have a good break next week
You
and enjoy the
too.
skiing.
You too. Have fun in Mammoth. I hope it snows.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow, 9 years of exams. But it's super cool how you actually get paid time off from work in order to study. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Laura as much as I did. I loved hearing how Laura found out about the career through her calculus professor, who happened to be head of the actuarial department. It's also amazing how most actuaries already have a job lined up before they even start their senior year in college. Actuaries really seem to have amazing job security and great pay with solid work-life balance. If you enjoyed this podcast, give us a like and follow. You can also check out our website at htbpod.com to see a database of jobs we've interviewed for already. And if you feel like you have an interesting career and want to tell your own story on our podcast, just go to htbpod.com and submit the form. Thanks again, and see you next week.